I hadn't heard my father's voice in over 6 months. They told me he traveled, but something in
Who dash you permissions to come here? You dey mad? You dey show yourself because say you dey America.
Where is my father, Uncle Francis? I came to see my dad.
Onyala America girl. You don't carry wahala come back, Abi.
I came for my father, not to beg fools.
Get out! Throw sand again and see what I'll do. I came for my father, not to beg fools. Tales by Chika. Please come and tell them the story. Don't forget to like and subscribe so the world can know what they did to my father.
Ifunanya, I honestly can't wait to share the story. Ifunanya was sitting in her New York office when she noticed something strange. Her father had not called her in 3 weeks. This was very unusual because Papa Paul always called his favorite daughter every Sunday after church. Paul was a special man. He had worked hard in America for 25 years. He was saving money and sending it back home to Nigeria. Everyone in his village knew he was successful. They called him American Man because he had built the biggest house in Oji village. Ifunanya picked up her phone and dialed her father's number. The phone rang and rang, but no one answered. She tried again the next day, and the day after, still no answer. On the 4th try, someone finally picked up the phone. It was Auntie Josephine, her father's sister.
Hello, Ifunanya.
Auntie Josephine said in a very sweet voice.
How are you, my dear?
I'm fine, Auntie. Where is my papa? I've been calling him for weeks, Ifunanya said. Oh, your father? He's upstairs sleeping. Oh, he has been very tired lately. You know how old people get tired easily. Auntie Josephine laughed. Can you wake him up? I really need to talk to him, Ifunanya begged. No, my dear, let him rest. He will call you back when he wakes up. Auntie Josephine said and hung up the phone. But Papa Paul never called back. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. Ifunanya was getting more and more worried. She called her father's house every day, but the same thing kept happening. Sometimes Uncle Francis would answer the phone. He would say, your father went to the market. He will call you back. Sometimes Auntie Josephine will answer. She would say, your father is in the garden. He's very busy with his plant. But Papa Paul never called back. This was not like her father at all. He loved talking to his daughter in America. He loved hearing about their jobs and their lives. Ifunanya started having bad dreams. In her dreams, she saw her father calling for help, but no one could hear him. She would wake up sweating and shaking. Something is very wrong, she told her mother one day. Her mother, who was also living in America, was worried too. Maybe we should send some money to your father. Maybe he needs help with something, she suggested. So Ifunanya started sending money to her father. She sent $500 every month through Western Union. But still, Papa Paul never called to say thank you. This made Ifunanya even more suspicious. It was December 2021 when Ifunanya was praying in her bedroom. She was asking God to help her understand what was happening to her father. Suddenly, she felt a strong feeling in her heart. It was like someone was speaking to her. Go to Nigeria. Your father needs you. He is in danger. Ifunanya sat up straight. She had never felt anything like this before. The voice was so clear and strong that she knew it was from God. The next morning, she went to her boss at work. I need to take 2 weeks off to travel to Nigeria, she said. Her boss looked surprised. Is everything okay, Ifunanya? I don't know yet, but I have to go and check on my father, she replied. Her boss was a very kind man. He knew Ifunanya was a good worker who never asked for time off unless it was important. Take all the time you need, he said. Family comes first. On January 15, 2022, Ifunanya boarded a plane from New York to Lagos, Nigeria. It was a very long flight, and she spent most of the time praying and thinking about her father. She remembered how proud Papa Paul was when he left Nigeria to work in America. He had promised his family that he would come back rich and successful, and he did. He worked as a security guard, a taxi driver, and later as a supervisor in a big company. He saved every penny he could. When Papa Paul retired, he had enough money to build a beautiful 3-story house in this village. He had cars, land, and a monthly pension of $5,000. He was living like a king. But now, something was terribly wrong. The plane landed in Lagos and Ifunanya took another flight to Enugu. From Enugu, she hired a taxi to take her to Oji village. As they got closer to her father's house, her heart was beating faster and faster. When the taxi reached her father's compound, Ifunanya couldn't believe what she saw. There was a huge pile of sand blocking the gate. The sand was so high that no car could enter or leave the compound. This is strange, the taxi driver said. Why would someone block their own gate like this? Ifunanya paid the taxi driver and told him to leave. She was determined to find out what was happening. She climbed over the pile of sand, which was not easy because she was wearing a nice dress and high heel. As she was climbing, sand got into her shoes and her clothes, but she didn't care. She had to see her father. When she reached the gate, she started banging on it with her fist. Papa Paul, it's me, Ifunanya. Open the gate, she shouted. For a few minutes, nothing happened. Then she heard footsteps coming towards the gate. The gate opened and Uncle Francis appeared. His face was very angry and his eyes was red like fire.
What are you doing here?
He shouted at Ifunanya.
Who told you to come to Nigeria?
Ifunanya was shocked by his behavior. Uncle Francis had always been nice to her when she was a child. I came to see my father. Where is Papa Paul? She asked. Your father is not here. He traveled to Abuja for business. Go back to America. Uncle Francis said rudely. Then Auntie Josephine came out. She was even angrier than Uncle Francis. You prostitute! You wicked girl! What are you doing in our compound? Auntie Josephine screamed. Ifunanya couldn't believe what she was hearing. These were her father's own brother and sister, and they were calling her terrible names. I'm not leaving until I see my father, Ifunanya said firmly. That was when Auntie Josephine did something shocking. She picked up a handful of sand and threw it at Ifunanya's face. Get out! Get out of here right now, she screamed. The shouting was so loud that people from the village started coming to see what was happening. Soon, there was a crowd of about 30 people around the compound. An old man who knew Ifunanya's family stepped forward.
Francis, what is wrong with you? This is Paul's daughter. Why are you treating her like this?
The old man asked. Yes, said a young woman from the village. We all know Ifunanya. She is Paul's first daughter. Why won't you let her see her father? More and more people started asking questions. They couldn't understand why Uncle Francis and Auntie Josephine were being so mean to Ifunanya. This is an abomination, shouted another villager. How can you prevent a daughter from seeing her father? Some of the young men in the crowd started getting angry. They moved closer to Uncle Francis and Auntie Josephine. If you don't let her see her father, we will force our way in, one of them said. Uncle Francis started looking scared. He knew the villagers were on Ifunanya's side. Okay, Uncle Francis said, trying to calm everyone down. Let me call her father in Abuja. He will talk to her on the phone. He took out his phone and dialed a number. After a few seconds, someone answered. Hello, Christopher, Uncle Francis said loudly so everybody could hear. Paul's daughter is here in the village. She wants to talk to you. Uncle Christopher was another of Papa Paul's brother who lived in Abuja. He was also part of the family. Put her on the phone, Uncle Christopher said. Uncle Francis handed the phone to Ifunanya. Hello, Uncle Christopher. Where is my father? Ifunanya asked. Your father is here with me in Abuja. He went to the bank, but he will be back soon. I will tell him to call you, Uncle Christopher said. But something felt very wrong to Ifunanya. Her father always carried his phone with him. Why would he go to the bank without calling her first? As she was thinking about this, she felt that same strong feeling in her heart again. It was like God was speaking to her. He's lying. Your father is in the house. Go upstairs and find him. Ifunanya handed the phone back to Uncle Francis. I want to go inside the house and wait for my father, she said. No, Auntie Josephine said quickly. The house is locked. Your father took all the keys with him to Abuja. Then how did you get inside to answer the phone all these months? Ifunanya asked cleverly. Auntie Josephine's face changed. She had been caught in a lie. The villagers started murmuring among themselves. They could see that something was not right. Let the girl go into her father's house, the old man said firmly. This is her father's property. She has every right to be here. Yes, agreed the crowd. Let her in. Uncle Francis and Auntie Josephine looked at each other nervously. They were running out of excuses. Fine, Uncle Francis said finally, but she can only stay on the ground floor. The upstairs is being renovated. The villagers pushed open the main door and everyone went inside. Ifunanya looked around her father's beautiful house. It was exactly as she remembered it, with expensive furniture and decorations from America. But something felt very wrong. The house was too quiet. There was no sound of life anywhere. Papa! Papa Paul! Ifunanya called out loudly. It's me, Ifunanya. I'm here to see you. She listened carefully, but there was no answer. See? I told you he's not here, Auntie Josephine said with a fake smile. But Ifunanya was not giving up. The voice in her heart was getting stronger and stronger. My father is upstairs, she said confidently. I want to go up and see. No! Uncle Francis blocked the staircase with his body. I told you it's under renovation. It's very dangerous up there. Then why are there no sounds of construction? Why are there no workers? Ifunanya asked. The villagers were nodding their heads. Ifunanya was asking good questions. Some of the young men from the village started moving towards the staircase. Move aside, Francis, one of them said. We want to see what you are hiding upstairs. You can't go up there, Auntie Josephine screamed. This is our family business. Paul is our brother too, the old man said. We have lived in this village together for over 60 years. If he's up there, we want to see him. A fight almost started. Uncle Francis and Auntie Josephine were trying to block the staircase, but the villagers were pushing forward. Wait, Ifunanya said. Let's not fight. Uncle Francis, if my father is really in Abuja, then there should be no problem with us going upstairs. We are just going to look at the renovations. Uncle Francis was sweating now. He knew he had no more excuses. Fine, he said finally, but only a few people can go up, not everyone. Ifunanya chose 3 young men and the old man to come with her. They started climbing the stairs slowly. As they climbed to the 2nd floor, Ifunanya's heart was beating so fast, she thought it might burst. The house was getting quieter and quieter. They reached the 2nd floor and looked around. There were 3 bedrooms, but all the doors were open and the rooms were empty. You see? Nothing here, Uncle Francis said, but his voice was shaking. What about the 3rd floor? Ifunanya asked. That's just storage, Auntie Josephine said quickly. Just old boxes and furniture. But Ifunanya was already climbing to the 3rd floor. The young men followed her. When they reached the top floor, they saw that there were 2 rooms. One room was locked and the other was open. Ifunanya walked towards the locked room. Papa! Papa Paul, are you in there? She called out. For a moment, there was silence. Then they heard a very weak voice. Ifunanya, is that really you? Ifunanya's heart stopped. It was her father's voice, but it sounded so weak and tired. Papa, yes, it's me, I'm here, she cried. Get me out of here, my daughter. They have been keeping me prisoner, Papa Paul said weakly. The young men looked at each other in shock. Uncle Francis and Auntie Josephine had been keeping Papa Paul locked in a room in his own house. Break down the door, Ifunanya shouted. The young men started kicking the door with all their strength. Uncle Francis and Auntie Josephine were crying and begging them to stop, but nobody was listening to them anymore. After several kicks, the door finally broke open. What Ifunanya saw inside made her scream and fall to her knees. Her father was lying on a dirty mattress on the floor. He was so thin that his bones were showing through his skin. His hair and beard had grown very long and wild. His fingernails were like the claws of an animal. The room smelled terrible because there was a bucket in the corner that he had been using as a toilet. Papa, oh my God, Papa, Ifunanya cried as she ran to hug her father. Papa Paul was so weak, he could barely lift his arms, but when he saw his daughter, Tears started flowing from his eyes. "My daughter, you came. I knew you would come," he whispered. One of the young men ran downstairs to tell the other villagers what they had found. Soon, the whole compound was filled with angry people. "How could you do this to your own brother?" the old man shouted at Uncle Francis. "This is worse than murder." A woman cried. While the villagers were dealing with Uncle Francis and Auntie Josephine, Ifunanya was trying to help her father sit up. "Papa, what happened? How long have you been locked in here?" she asked gently. Papa Paul's voice was very weak, but he started telling his story. "After I came back from America, I was living happily in this house. I was giving money to Francis and Josephine because they said they needed help. But then I found out that they were stealing from me." "Stealing what, Papa?" "They were taking money from my bank account. They had somehow gotten my ATM card and were withdrawing money every day. When I confronted them, they became very angry." Papa Paul coughed and continued. "One day, I told them I was going to report them to the police. That night, they gave me food that made me feel very sick. When I woke up, I was locked up in that room." "How long ago was this, Papa?" "I think it's been more than a year. I stopped counting the days." As Papa Paul was getting stronger with some water and food that Ifunanya brought him, he revealed more shocking details. "They were not just stealing small amounts," he said. "They were taking thousands of dollars from my account every month." "But Papa, you are getting $5,000 every month from your pension. How were they taking it?" "They forced me to give them my ATM card and PIN number. They said if I didn't cooperate, they would kill me and bury me in the backyard where nobody would find me." Ifunanya was crying as she listened to her father's story. She couldn't believe that family members could be so wicked. "They were also taking money from all the transfers you and your brothers were sending to me. Every time you sent money through Western Union, they would collect it using fake documents." "Was that why you never called to check us for the money?" Ifunanya realized. "I didn't even know you were sending money. They never told me. They wanted me to die slowly so they could inherit all my property." Outside, the villagers were so angry that they wanted to beat Uncle Francis and Auntie Josephine, but the elders stopped them. "We don't solve problems with violence in this village," the old man said. "But what you have done is an abomination. You have brought shame to our entire community." Uncle Francis was on his knees begging for forgiveness. "We are just trying to help Paul manage his money," he lied. "You didn't mean any harm." "Liar!" shouted a young woman. "You locked your own brother in a room for over a year. You let him suffer while you were spending his money." Auntie Josephine was also crying, but her tears were fake. She was not sorry for what she had done. She was only sorry that she had been caught. "You should call the police," someone suggested. "Yes, this is kidnapping and theft," another person agreed. But Ifunanya came downstairs with a different plan. "I need to get my father to the hospital immediately," Ifunanya announced. "He's very sick and weak." "But what about these criminals?" a villager asked, pointing at Uncle Francis and Auntie Josephine. "The most important thing right now is saving my father's life," Ifunanya said. "We can deal with them later." But as she was speaking, she noticed that Auntie Josephine was whispering something to a young man who had just arrived at the compound. The man nodded and quickly left. Ifunanya felt worried. What was Auntie Josephine planning? She went back upstairs to help her father get ready to leave. Papa Paul was so weak that he couldn't walk on his own. Two of the young men had to carry him downstairs. When they reached the ground floor, Ifunanya saw that Uncle Francis and Auntie Josephine were nowhere to be found. "Where did they go?" she asked. "They said they were going to get some things from their house to help Paul," one of the villagers said. But Ifunanya knew they were lying. She had a bad feeling that they were planning something terrible. As Ifunanya was trying to get her father into a car to take him to the hospital, she heard the sound of motorcycles approaching. Soon, about 10 young men on motorcycles surrounded the compound. These were not villagers. They looked like troublemakers from another town. "Where is the girl who came from America?" one of them shouted. Ifunanya realized that Auntie Josephine had hired these men to cause trouble. The villagers who had been helping Ifunanya started looking scared. They knew these motorcycle riders were dangerous. "We don't want any trouble," the old man said. "We are just trying to help a sick man get to the hospital." "Shut up, old man," the leader of the motorcycle riders said rudely. "We are here for the American girl. Someone owes us money and we are here to collect it. Ifunanya knew this was a lie. Auntie Josephine had probably promised to pay these men to chase her away from the village. I'm not going anywhere without my father, Ifunanya said bravely. Her father was lying in the back seat of the car, barely conscious. You either come with us now, or we'll make things very difficult for everyone in this village, the leader threatened. Some of the villagers started backing away. They were afraid of getting into trouble with these dangerous men. But the 3 young men who had helped Ifunanya find her father stood firm. This is our village, one of them said. You have no right to come here and threaten our people. And this is our brother's daughter, another one added. We will protect her with our lives. The tension in the air was very thick. It felt like a fight was about to start. Just then, Papa Paul opened his eyes and saw what was happening. My daughter, he whispered, don't let them separate us again. I can't survive another day without you. Ifunanya had an idea. She remembered that her father had always been respected in the village. Everyone listening to me, she shouted loudly, my father is a man of honor in this village. He has helped many families with school fees and medical bills. Is this how you repay his kindness? The villagers started remembering all the good deeds Papa Paul had done for them over the years. She's right, said a woman whose son Papa Paul had helped send to university. Paul helped me build my house when I had no money, said another man. He paid for my wife's surgery when she was sick. Soon, more and more villagers were coming forward to defend Papa Paul and his daughter. The motorcycle riders started looking uncomfortable. They were outnumbered by the growing crowd of villagers. We don't want to fight with the whole village, leaders said, realizing that the situation was getting out of control. While the motorcycle riders were distracted by the crowd, Ifunanya quickly got into the car with her father. Drive now, she told the driver. The car started moving towards the gate, but the motorcycle riders heard the engine and tried to block the way. But the villagers had surrounded the motorcycle, making it impossible for them to move quickly. Go, we will handle them, the young men shouted to Ifunanya. The car managed to get through the gate and onto the main road. As they were driving away, Ifunanya looked back and saw the villagers still standing strong against the motorcycle rider. She felt grateful to these brave people who had risked their own safety to help her and her father. Papa, we are free, she said to her father. You are going to be okay now. Papa Paul squeezed his daughter's hand weakly. Thank you, my daughter. I knew God would send you to save me. At the hospital in Enugu, the doctors were shocked by Papa Paul's condition. This man has been severely malnourished, the doctors told Ifunanya. It looks like he hasn't had proper food for many months. He was being held prisoner by his own family, Ifunanya explained. The doctor shook his head sadly. We see many terrible things, but this one is one of the worst cases of family abuse I've ever encountered. Papa Paul had to stay in the hospital for 2 weeks. During this time, Ifunanya never left his side. She fed him, helped him walk, and slowly nursed him back to health. As Papa Paul got stronger, he was able to tell Ifunanya more details about his imprisonment. They were planning to kill me slowly, he said. They will only give me one small meal a day, sometimes nothing at all. They wanted it to look like I died naturally from old age. But Papa, why didn't anyone in the village know what was happening? They told people I had gone back to America. They even showed fake airline tickets to prove it. After Papa Paul was discharged from the hospital, Ifunanya decided it was time to seek justice. She went to the police station in Enugu with her father and filed a formal complaint against Uncle Francis and Auntie Josephine. The police officer who took their statement was very sympathetic. This is a serious case of kidnapping, theft, and attempted murder, he said. We'll issue arrest warrants immediately. But when the police went to Oji village to arrest Uncle Francis and Auntie Josephine, they had disappeared. They probably ran away as soon as they realized their plan had failed, the police officer explained. However, the police were able to freeze Papa Paul's bank account to prevent any more money from being stolen. When they checked the bank record, they discovered that Uncle Francis and Auntie Josephine had stolen over $50,000 from Papa Paul's account over the past year. This is a lot of money, Ifunanya said. News of what happened to Papa Paul spread quickly throughout Oji River and the surrounding community. People were shocked and disgusted by the behavior of Uncle Francis and Auntie Josephine. This brings shame to our entire family, said Papa Paul's cousin, who lived in another village. Many people came to visit Papa Paul to express their support and to apologize for not realizing what was happening to him, which would have been more suspicious when we stopped seeing Paul around the village, one neighbor said. But Francis and Josephine were very clever with their lies, another person replied. They convinced everyone that Paul had gone back to America. The village elders held a special meeting to discuss the incident. From now on, we will check on our elderly people more regularly to make sure that nothing like this happened to anybody again. As the months passed, Papa Paul slowly regained his strength and health. The doctors said it was a miracle that he has survived such a long period of starvation and imprisonment. Your father has a very strong will to live, the doctor told Ifunanya. Many people would not have survived what he went through. Ifunanya decided to extend her stay in Nigeria to take care of her father. She took a leave of absence from her job in America. Family is more important than any job, she said. During this time, she also helped her father recover the money that had been stolen from him. With the help of lawyers and the police, they were able to trace some of the stolen funds. Papa Paul made a difficult decision about forgiveness. I forgive Francis and Josephine, he announced one day. I don't want to carry hatred in my heart for the rest of my life. Ifunanya was surprised to her father's words. Papa, how can you forgive them after what they did to you? My daughter, hatred is like a poison. It hurts the person who carries it more than the person is directed at. I chose to let God handle the punishment. Papa Paul decided that he could no longer live alone in his big house in Oji village. I want to come back to America with you, he told Ifunanya. I don't feel safe here anymore. Ifunanya was happy to hear this. She had been worried about leaving her father alone again. They made arrangements to sell the house and move Papa Paul back to New York. Before leaving Nigeria, Papa Paul wanted to thank all the villagers who had helped save his life. He organized a big celebration in the village and gave gifts to everyone who had supported Ifunanya during the rescue. You are my true family, he told the villagers. He showed me what real love and loyalty looks like. Many people cried during his speech. They were sad to see him leave, but they understood why he couldn't stay. As their plane took off from Lagos airport, Ifunanya reflected on everything that had happened. She had learned that sometimes the people closest to you can be the most dangerous. She has also learned that God speaks to people in mysterious ways, and it's important to listen to that inner voice. Papa, what would have happened if I hadn't come to Nigeria? She asked her father. Papa Paul thought for a moment before answering. I would have died in that room and nobody would have ever known the truth. Francis and Josephine would have inherited everything and lived happily after ever. But God had other plans, Ifunanya said. Yes, my daughter. God used you to save my life. You are my guardian angel. The plane climbed higher into the sky, carrying them away from the pain and trauma of the past year and towards a new life filled with hope and gratitude. Back in New York, Papa Paul slowly adjusted to life in America again. It was different from his retirement dreams, but he was grateful to be alive and free. Ifunanya found a bigger apartment so her father could live with her. She enjoyed taking care of him and making sure he had everything he needed. Papa Paul started going to therapy to help him deal with the trauma of his imprisonment. The therapist said it would take time, but he would eventually heal from the psychological wounds. Some nights, I still have nightmares about being locked in that room, he admitted to Ifunanya. That's normal, Papa, but you are safe now. No one can hurt you anymore. Papa Paul also started going to church regularly. He said he wanted to thank God every day for sending Ifunanya to rescue him. 6 months after returning to America, Ifunanya received a call from the police in Nigeria. We have arrested Francis and Josephine, the officer reported. They were caught trying to sell your father's car. Ifunanya felt a mixture of relief and sadness. She was glad that justice was finally being served, but she also felt sorry for her father's sibling who had chosen such a dark path. The trial took place a few months later. Papa Paul decided not to return to Nigeria for the trial, but he provided testimony through video conference. Uncle Francis and Auntie Josephine were found guilty of kidnapping, theft, and attempted murder. They were sentenced to 15 years in prison. Justice has been served, Papa Paul said when he heard the verdict, but I still pray for them to find redemption. Ifunanya decided to share their story with the world. She wanted other people to learn from their experience and to be aware of the dangers that can exist within family. She started a blog where she wrote about elder abuse and family betrayal. Her story went viral on social media, and she received messages from people all over the world who had experienced similar situations. Your story gave me the courage to investigate when my grandmother stopped calling. One person wrote, "Thanks to your blog, I discovered that my uncle was stealing from my elderly mother." Ifunanya realized that their terrible experience had become a source of hope and protection to other families. Papa Paul was proud of his daughter for turning their pain into purpose. God works in mysterious ways, he said. Even our worst experience can be used to help others. Today, Papa Paul is healthy and happy, living in New York with his daughter. He has regained most of his weight and strength, and his spirits are high. He spends his days reading, watching Nigerian movies, and video calling his grandchildren. He also volunteers at a local senior center where he shares his story to help other elderly people recognize the sign of abuse. Ifunanya continues to work and take care of her father. She has become an advocate for elder rights and frequently speaks at conferences about family abuse. Their story is a reminder that love and faith can triumph over even the darkest betrayal. It shows that sometimes God speaks to us in the quietest moments, and when we listen, miracles can happen. Uncle Francis and Auntie Josephine are still in prison in Nigeria. Papa Paul continues to pray for them, hoping that they will one day find through repentance and peace. The house in Oji village was eventually sold, and the money was used to help other elderly people who had been victims of family abuse. Papa Paul's story became a legend in the village, passed down from generation to generation as a warning about greed and testament to the power of the daughter's love. And every Sunday after church, Papa Paul calls his children and grandchildren in America, just like he used to do. But now, they all make sure to call him back if they miss his call, because they learn that silence can sometimes be the loudest cry for help. And family is not just about blood relations, but about who shows up when you need them the most. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to share this story with your family and your friends who might love to see them. Till I see you again in my next story. Goodbye.
Throw sand again and see what I'll do. I came for my father, not to beg fools.
Jada.